meta tier this time. I haven't done one of these in a little while, and after a big patch, seems like the perfect time to do it. Now, this will be based on high-level play. If you're wondering, this is not a ranked tier list in any way, shape, or form, so keep that in mind. But let's just dive into it, shall we? Let's start with Breach at the start. So, Breach, for those of you who have followed my win rate data kind of over the past couple of years, you'll know that Breach tends to be the worst agent in terms of win rate data at the pro level. We are seeing quite a bit more Breach with the Neon meta, but I don't think Breach is really that good. And I think there's better initiators available, so I'm going to put Breach in the C tier. Brimstone. Brimstone is still fulfilling the same role that he always has, which is good on a couple maps and not so good elsewhere. I guess that probably makes him like high C tier. You know, I mean, he's good on Bind and Fracture, but not so much really anywhere else. You could argue low B tier. You know what? I'll be kind. I'll put Brim in the low B. Cypher. Obviously, Cypher got pretty significant changes, I would say, in the latest patch. I still personally think, even with those changes, that if you are a good Cypher player, like you have, you know, quite a few different setups, and you know, like one-way cages, and you know, like you're actually very good on the agent, I still think you'll probably be fine. I still think Cypher is very good. But basically, if you're not as good of a Cypher, even at like the pro level, you know, you just can't get away with doing kind of the same like OP trip. You know, because people will know where it is and they'll break it before it goes off. You know, if you're not that good at Cypher, Cypher did get enough, but I still think the Cypher is still good, right? He still gives you the info. Yeah, the kill potential probably isn't as high. The ult got nerfed, but the ult deserved to be nerfed, and it still is only 7 cost, so it's not that bad. I'm going to put Cypher still in the A tier. I think still a pretty good agent overall. Jett. Look, I've long been standing on this hill of Jett is whatever, meh, okay. Sure, whatever, and I still believe that, so I'm going to put Jett in the B tier. Speaking of agents that are kind of okay, Killjoy is okay. Also, like, B tier, in my opinion. And now, let's come to Omen. And obviously, with Omen, we have a lot to talk about with the nerf, and I'm just going to very quickly take you through this Omen nerf and talk about how much it really matters. So, the Omen nerf, very briefly, is basically that you just can't place one-ways in all of the different positions that you used to be able to, right? Basically, now the easiest way to think about it is, if you can do a one-way with Clove or Brim in that position, you can do it with Omen. And if not, then you can't do it with Omen either, right? And so now I'm just going to quickly go through all the maps and talk about how big of a change it is on each of the maps in the pool. And I'm going to try and do this very quickly. On Abyss, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. On Ascent, there is actually quite a few one-ways. You know, you can still do this one here, but, you know, there's a lot of different one-ways across Ascent that you no longer can do. You can't even do this one, which I don't really understand because it is on a ledge, but I don't get why you can't do one-ways there, but you can't, right? So on Ascent, it actually does make a bit of a difference. On Bind, it makes a massive difference because the only reason you were playing Omen was for these one-ways, and so you're never going to see Omen on Bind again. Don't worry about it. On Haven, there are some one-ways that you could do, but most people didn't do, so it won't probably matter that much. On Pearl, don't worry about it. You're only going to see Astra here anyway. On Split, there was this one-way in B main that people used to do quite commonly. This was the worst one-way in the game. This actually was, I think, detrimental to the defensive side often, because you would get these Omens sitting out here towards B main, and they couldn't find this one-way, and it's quite a hard one-way to do, so they would fiddle around, and by that time, the opponents would just walk past it anyway and be up in B main, but you might think that they're not in B main because you did this one-way, but the one-way doesn't work because of the way that it wasn't defended properly. So on Split, it doesn't really matter. And on Sunset, all of the main one-ways that you were doing anyway, like, you know, here, you can still do. Here, you can still do. If you're on attack side, oh, here, you can still do. Oh, here, you can still do. Right, so all the main ones on Sunset, you can still do. The point being that basically this nerf was only for people who were actually really good at Omen and really, you know, were using one-ways all the time, which most people weren't. Even the very top high-level pros weren't doing it most of the time. So the point is that the nerf for most people, even most pro players, doesn't matter that much. And that is why it's a bad nerf, and that is why Omen is still less tier, in my opinion. Now, is he worse? Yes, Omen is worse, and the theoretical ceiling of Omen has come down pretty significantly, but as I say, for most of the time, it's fine. Phoenix, interesting one as well, of course. Now, this one is probably the only one that, I'll be honest, could go anywhere, right? Like, with the Phoenix changes, I like the changes. I think the changes are significant, and I think they're cool, and I'm excited to see what people do with Phoenix. Where do I put him on this list? I don't know. I think I'm going to tentatively put Phoenix in the B tier. He could be C tier. I'd be surprised if he's above the B tier, to be honest, but who knows? Right, but with all the buffs, the wall is now an ability you can actually use. The ult is still obviously good. The flashes are now a signature, and the flashes are good even at the highest level. So yeah, I think the Phoenix, should be pretty good. Raze is still good. I'm gonna put Raze in the A tier, I think. Not quite S tier, but I think decent A tier. Reyna, no. Sage, no. Skye. I think my main problem with Skye is I just think you should pick Gecko. Skye's still like a C tier, but yeah. Sova. Sova, hey, you know what? I'm gonna blow your mind here. Being revealed is quite strong. Getting people revealed is quite good. I think Sova is S tier. Viper, if you've watched this channel for a while, you'll know what I think of Viper and how Viper, in the past, before they nerfed Viper, was way more OP than I think even people realized, even though everyone knew Viper was OP. And now, even after nerfs, I still think Viper is very strong and is still an S tier agent. Is Viper above Omen again? I'm gonna say, I don't know what the ranking. I mean, Silver even might be first, to be honest. I don't know. This is tough now. I actually don't know what order I'd put these in. Good question. Not gonna answer it. This isn't in any order. Yoru. I've long been a fan of Yoru. I think Yoru is pretty good. I think Yoru's like low A tier. I think Yoru's pretty good if used correctly. Astra, obviously with the buffs. Is Astra S tier though? I'm not quite sure Astra is S tier. I think Astra is like high A tier. And we probably will see, quite a bit of Astra, especially with the Omen nerfs now. Maybe you will see more Astra as well. So we'll see. But I think Astra high A tier. KO, pretty good. Like an A tier agent, I think. Pretty good. Chamber. Chamber got buffed, but I don't think I've seen a Chamber in a while. Chamber's just kind of completely fell out of the game. He still does have some use. Is he better than... Is Chamber better than Sage? Should I put... I probably should have put Sage in the C tier, to be fair. Is Chamber better than Sage? Probably not. Okay, Neon. Neon, obviously, we know is getting a nerf. So, Neon is kind of difficult to place because it depends on the severity of that nerf. There are some rumors as to what that nerf might be, but, you don't really know until you actually see it or until it's confirmed. I'll leave Neon off the list. If I was doing this list, even with the current Neon, I actually not even sure I'd put Neon in the S tier, to be honest. I am a believer that Neon would be like maybe the highest of A tier or low S tier. I think Neon's frustration factor is off the charts. But I'll leave Neon off the list because obviously, I mean, this will be outdated in like a week or two. And who knows, right? Neon hopefully will end up somewhere around here, right? That's what we're hoping, but we'll see. Fade is pretty good, but like probably like low A tier. Being revealed, pretty good. Harbor, again, with the Astra buff and with all these controls up here, and we know Harbor is getting a buff, but right now there just isn't really a reason to play Harbor, I suppose. Gecko is still good, even after a nerf. Gecko is still pretty good. Deadlock, I think, has her uses. It's probably like high B tier, decent. ISO does see some play. The shield, I think, is still pretty good. The ult is pretty good. I think ISO's like a kind of by Deadlock, I think, is ISO, but Phoenix might have overtaken. Let's put ISO there. Clove, you know what I think of Clove. We don't need to go into Clove too much. Nothing's going to change. These two are the ranked agents in the game. And then finally, Vice. And we haven't seen a ton of Vice in general. I still think Vice has decent uses, but I think I'm going to stick Vice in the middle of the B tier just there. And I think that will close out my list and be my list. Interesting list. Certainly things up in the air. I could definitely see Phoenix moving, Vice moving, Neon, who knows where Neon will end up. Maybe Omen is worse than I'm assuming and should be down there. I don't know. But anyway, that's my list. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and have a nice day.